Okay, good day, guys. Hope everyone is doing okay today. And if you're watching or listening, please remember to like the video and subscribe to the Formula Sports channel to hear more of my thoughts on respective sporting topics and issues. Because we do appreciate the support as well, guys, as it does help the channel immensely. And a big thank you to all who have already subscribed. Now, word has gotten out that Brentford star player Ivan Toney is seemingly interested in playing for Jamaica. And according to many sources, especially on YouTube, reliable ones too, his representatives are going to be meeting with the JFF in the coming days. Now, I am going to be real with you guys. When I heard this, I was very surprised. Right? Very surprised. Surprised because I never thought Tony would be seriously considering playing for Jamaica at this time, especially as a first option over England. And the reason for this is that I think Tony has the potential to one day, in the not so distant future, be good enough to be considered by the England national team. And even though I can't speak to one's thoughts, if I were to take a guess, I would probably say Tony himself might fancy his chances of potentially receiving a call up and even becoming an integral part of the English setup. And his potential for an England call up is not just baseless speculation, as there are already rumors that England coach Gareth Southgate is keeping an eye on him. But the reason I feel that Tony will one day be good enough for England is because even though right now Tony is currently playing in the English League Championship, which is the English second division, he is a relatively young man at the age of 24 with a lot of potential upside to improve and is currently tearing it up in the English League Championship for Brentford, who certainly looks like they're on their way to the Premier League after falling just short last year, right? So the way I see it, more than likely Tony will be playing Premier League football next season, regardless of whether he stays at Brentford or he leaves. And there are current Premier League teams that are certainly interested in him because of his impressive form in the Championship. And probably Premier League teams are also looking at the fact that his predecessor in Ollie Watkins, the man who Tony was brought in to replace at Brentford, is currently doing well for Villa in the Premier League. And even that too is an indication that Tony can at some point will do well in the Prem and also be in the running for a place in the English setup, because Ollie Watkins was in the same position last year as Tony is in this year and at the same age as well, 24. And Ollie is currently in serious contention to play for the English at the Euros a year later. Also, Tony is doing a far better job than Ollie did for Brentford. Ollie scored 26 goals in 49 games for Brentford in the Championship last season, and this includes one goal that he scored in the playoffs. And Tony so far this season at just past the halfway mark, has already scored almost the same amount of goals that Ali scored in the entirety of last season in the championship. Toney has scored an amazing 23 goals and 9 assists in 28 appearances for Brentford this season, which is certainly very, very impressive. To put it in perspective for you, how amazing this is, last year's leading goal scorer in the championship scored 26 goals, right? 26 goals in the entire season. So barring injury or some unforeseen circumstance, Toney will fly past this. And when I say fly, I mean fly. I mean, the way how it is looking, if Toney keeps this up, he might score 40 goals or very close to it. As a matter of fact, let me give you an even better perspective to look at it from. The English League Championship record for most goals by one man in a single season is 30 goals. Man, the way how things look, Toney is going to be flying past this too. Or better yet, absolutely obliterate it. Right? This seems to be the more appropriate term. Right? He's gonna absolutely smash this record and become the record goal scorer for most goals by one man in a single season in the England second division. Toney was also voted League One or the third division's Player of the Year last year when he was at Peterborough. Now you see why I think Ivan Toney has every chance of becoming a star. Now I'm not saying Toney will go on to fulfill his true potential and do big things in the Prem or even make the England team, because obviously I am not a prophet nor am I a fortune teller. But all of this is entirely possible and is certainly not too far-fetched or unreasonable to think. And separate and apart from the stats, just looking at Toney with the naked eye, you can see he is a very good player. He is a traditional number 9, and you know those are always in high demand. He is good at poaching and finishing. I mean, very good at both. He is technically a good player. He can hold up the play. He is very good in the air. Excellent, in fact. And not afraid to get physical and use his physicality. And some reports suggest that he may be as tall as 6'2", right? Although many sources are saying different things. You can also see he is a very good athlete as well, because of how high he jumps, right? He jumps very high, so his height and his athletic ability are certainly reasons for his impressive aerial quality. He is also good with the ball at his feet, a good passer of the football, vision and precision, one that can link up well with midfielders and wingers making forward runs. And this is evidenced by his 9 assists so far this season. And he has set up a number of good chances for his teammates as well that have gone begging. And of course, with Jamaican heritage, you know he's quick. Didn't even need to tell you that. Overall, man, you get the picture. This guy is the truth. So, I want you guys to tell me in the comment sections if my surprise or even shock at Toney seemingly being interested to play for us is unwarranted, especially against the backdrop of his eligibility to play for England. Because when these guys have a shot, or at the very least, they think they have a shot to play for England, Jamaica is the furthest thing from their mind. And of course, you guys know the English have a far better setup than ours. A far better team that has a realistic shot of winning more prestigious trophies. And let us not even talk about the media attention or even endorsement deals that one can receive just by virtue of repping the English. I mean, Sterling just signed a $120 million deal with Puma. Only if you're a legend in your respective sport like Usain Bolt can a Jamaican get those sort of endorsements. And I do believe that if Bolt was of another nationality, like the US or Britain, one of those bigger markets, he probably would have received even bigger contracts than the already mega deals he received. But that's another issue for another day. But I am of the opinion that he is a Premier League player playing in the Championship. When you look at his game, he has everything. And I do think that those strikers are usually the best, the ones who possess the full package. And I think based on his performances so far in the Championship and him being 24 years old, with potential upside to get even better, I do think that he has what it takes to do well in the Premier League, especially if he finds the right team with the right system, although he looks like the type of player that can cut it anywhere in any system. And I do know that the Prem is a big step up. But as I said, man, sometimes you can just look at a player with the naked eye and see that he can clearly cut it at another level. And add that to his impressive stats so far this year, I do believe that he can adapt and do very well in the Prem. And there have been other strikers who have played in the Championship and has done well the following season in the Prem in recent seasons. Ollie Watkins, as previously mentioned, Tammy Abrahams, Bamford down at Leeds, Pookie from Norwich, just to name a few. Now, based on all of what I've just said, even when you consider the high competition for striking places in the English setup, you have players like Kane, Rashford, Vardy, Ings, Watkins, Calvert-Lewin, Wilson, Bamford, and Tammy Abrahams to a lesser extent. A whole lot of good players, right? And all of these players are obviously before him right now in the England pecking order. But I do believe that there is a big possibility that he would be in the running for a place when he gets to the Premier League. So based on all of this again, I am pleasantly surprised that Toney is even thinking about Jamaica at this time in his career. You would think that he would at least wait and see how things pan out for him first. Now I want to explore for a bit the possible reasons for this interest in the Reggae Boyz from one Ivan Toney. Is Toney just merely exploring all of his options? Is Toney using this as an opportunity to see where he's at with England? To use the situation to see just how much interest England actually has in him? To see what England's move will be once they have gotten wind of his reps meeting with the JFF. It could also be a possibility that he has Jamaican parents and grew up in a Jamaican household in the UK and feels a patriotic connection to Jamaica and hence genuinely wants to play for us, right? But to be honest with you, I don't know the answer to this because I tried desperately to find info on his parents' nationality or his connection to Jamaica, but to no avail because it does seem as if he likes to keep his private life private. But if you know what are his connections to Jamaica, just let it be known in the comment section. Is it in any way possible that Tony thinks that Jamaica has a good team, a team that can do big things and even go to the World Cup? Does he think that the squad currently constructed can compete at a high level? Who knows? And of course, he would be the main man up front for sure. Because obviously, Nicholson and Roof would have to take a backseat to this extremely talented player. There is also the possibility that even though he fancies his chances of one day becoming a regular in the England setup, he might not fancy his chances of starting and getting game time over the likes of a Harry Kane, who is one of the first names on the England team sheet by virtue of being arguably a top 5 or even top 3 centre forward in the entire world, right? He could also be wooed by looking at the Jamaican team sheet and seeing a class player in Leon Bailey, who himself is well on his way to becoming a world-class player and whose talent I personally think is helping to convince more high-profile England-born players to potentially become a part of the Reggae Boyz setup, or at the very least consider it. Another possibility is also that he is impressed by Coach Tapper Whitmore and his impressive record as Reggae Boyz head coach, and that he considers him a good coach, as many of us, including myself, do. Anyway, regardless of his reasons, I do really hope that we can get him to come and play for us. One, because of his quality, and two, because he seemingly wants to play for us, despite having better options, much better options, right? I don't know which one excites me more. The fact that we could get a player of his quality, or that a player of his quality is actually interested in playing for us. So I really do hope that we can get him, and I think that if we do get him, we already have one foot in Qatar 2022. That's how highly I rate this guy and the potential impact he could have playing for the Reggae Boyz. Alright guys, that's my 2 cents. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day, and until next time.